So I'll record this so you have this. So let's bring up your most recent one here. Okay, so I'll go to setup here. Let's adjust these for you. So. Okay, so just give you a brief overview of what this is showing. Obviously, we have our camera angles here. Okay, in the top here we have basically that pressure plate.
Oh,
okay, so this is going to be your left foot.
Is the red is
You got it. Yeah. So left foot, right foot. Okay,
Yeah.
it's basically like a weather map. So high pressure is going to be your red, blue is going to be your lower pressure. Okay, so up here is going to be your toes, down here is going to be your heels. Okay. This is going to be the percentage of pressure that you have on your left side and percentage of pressure you have on your right side, okay? And this number in the middle here is going to be the distance between the middle of your left foot and the middle of your right foot. So basically stance width, okay? This white circle here is your center of pressure, okay? How it moves throughout the swing is that trace there, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so if we just go through the swing here and we watch that dot, you're going to see on the backswing it goes into this right foot, and as you go into the left foot, you're making a downswing. Okay, so we'll watch that now. See there and through. Okay, so let's go back to setup here, analyze a little bit of how you're looking there. So, a couple things I look for. So I look for your hands to fall pretty much right under your chin there. You do a great job there. I'm happy there. Okay. I look for a decent amount of knee bend to the point where you have your knee, the tip of your kneecap right over the balls of your feet. So I might add a little bit. You're not far off though, so I'm not overly concerned about that one. Where I do see a little bit of an adjustment I'd like to make is see how much of your right shoulder we can see and how little of your left.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is normal to have open shoulders and open hips to a certain extent at setup. You've kind of optimized, you've kind of, yeah, exactly,
Okay.
yeah. So you kind of exaggerated the open left shoulder here. I don't mind where your hips are, they look pretty decent, but I'd love to just turn that left shoulder in just a hair, especially for someone that works it over the top.
More to the right.
You got it, yeah, just with that upper body.
What about this, with my head over here, is that too much down?
I've seen much worse, let's put it that way.
Okay,
So
okay.
usually when we make minor adjustments like a little bit of knee bend, this kind of falls into place.
Yep.
So rarely do I have to look at this, but
Okay.
I don't mind where that's at right now. You're not too hunched,
Okay.
maybe a hair in the upper back, but not too bad. So overall I'm pretty happy with what I see there. Okay, so as we make the backswing here, so your club is right about there.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what I call position 2 in the swing. So by the point your hands reach belt height. Okay. What I like to see here, especially for people that have the issue of the club going over the top, okay, I like to see that club head out here, out front of your hands, not behind them. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so that is definitely something we're going to look at. Okay, so that's going to be one thing. And then as we go to the top here. Okay.
Yep.
So top of the swing there. That's going to be that one here. So I would love to see a little bit more hip turn here. Okay. Your shoulders are a little bit restricted. I think your shoulders are going to turn a little bit more when I get those hips just to turn a little bit more. So I definitely want to look at that. The club's not too far off. It's a little bit vertical here. Like if I was to go through the shaft, you're a little bit short of the golf ball.
So
Okay. I like to see it a little bit flatter to the point where it's pointing at the golf ball or just right of it. Okay. This could all change there once we just give you a little bit more of a turn. So it's just things I like pointing out and not necessarily something we will focus on. Okay. Okay, so that's decent there. And obviously your hands are going to go towards the ball. Okay. And obviously as you get into the ball, so I'll go live with this one here. There's, what I've seen is basically two ways for people to finish the swing. So if you look at the pros, okay, they're going to finish the swing. Actually, I can do it this way because I have a camera there. So they're going to finish the swing by turning and getting their body turned ahead of where the club and hands and arms are, right? What this allows them to do is it gives them all this space to get their hands to go through, okay, and they're still over top of the golf ball. What I would say 70 to 80% of the people that walk through that door do is they come through and they stop their rotation here. So then if they were to keep going with their hands, they'd almost hit themselves in the lead hip here, okay? So what they've had to do to give themselves room is they've had to do this. So they've lost their posture this way. That allows their hands to go this way, but usually leads to quite a left path, which you see that you do, okay? You have quite a minus path there, okay? So in an ideal world, we get you just turning a little bit more to get those hands, lots of room to go straight down the line.
Let's do some drills to work on.
Oh, 100%, 100%, you got it. And remember, this isn't all at once in one lesson, this is just me recapping one swing here. Okay, so that's what I see there, and then as a finish, okay, so you get there. So you get to the point where you have a full turn, so I'm happy there. You peek out. So I'll kind of explain these graphs just a little bit. We're not going to go too in depth and then into them now. This top graph here is your horizontal movement, so how much force you create from going side to side, okay? This is going to be how much force you create by rotating on the plate, and this is going to be how much force you create by pushing up vertically, which is primarily done by your lead leg as you go through the downswing, okay? You sequence these very well to the point where your horizontal peaks first, that's good, then your rotation peaks, and then your vertical peaks. That sequence is very, very good. We want to maintain that sequence. So that's a great job there. Okay, I'm going to bring you into where we'll probably go with a lot for today. So, go back down to setup here. We're just going to look at this top part here. So I'm going to change the layout for you. So this is primary. Okay, so you can see at setup, you're just a hair bit more on the left side than you are the right side by percentage here. You're over top, I'd say the more so the ball's your feet than the heels. I'm happy there. Okay, as we go to the top of the swing, you're going to peak it out at about 92% on the back leg. That's on the higher end, but I'm not overly disappointed there. I can live with this, okay? Where I can't live with, and we can't really live with to optimize our golf game is, look what you do here. So from the top of the swing through on the downswing. See what your dot did? Moved that way. Okay? Yeah. So you had a weight transfer onto your lead leg. That's great. Really good. Okay, really good. Okay. So we're going to peak it out. You peak it out at 79% here. Here's the problem. That's your peak there. Look at where you are in the golf swing. You haven't even reached you've just reached your basically waist on the downswing. Okay?
So way ahead of myself.
You're going to reverse here. Watch this number now as you go into the golf ball. What's happening to it? It's getting smaller, right? Now you've got to impact here and you've dropped over 15%. Okay? So as important as this number is at impact, as far as I'd love for it to be 80%, what's just as important is I want that number to be increasing to 80% once I go into impact. I don't want it to get there and then come subtract away, right? Because what that tells me is happening is you're going like this, and then all of a sudden as the golf ball comes, all your pressure is coming away from the golf ball. Okay, so you're no longer using that momentum and pressure that you can create through your body into the golf ball. It's now actually hindering what you can do to the golf ball.
So, what I read was that this weight transfer should be ahead of your swing.
Correct. So if we were to sequence it, once I get to we'll call it the top of the swing, I should start to shift onto my lead side first, which you do a great job. Then I should rotate, and then I should push. Okay? What's happening for you is you're doing this. Turn and going back. Okay? Whereas you're becoming reliant on your back leg, your right leg, I need you to become more reliant on your left leg. It's part of the reason why you're not what you think, you're not hitting it as far, or you're not optimizing what you have the ability to do. It's part of the reason why. Your body and your big muscles are hindering what you can do to the golf ball. They're not helping what you can do with the golf ball. Does that make sense? Okay? So that was a lot of information there. So let's just simplify it down to one thing at a time here. So at setup, I would love to see a little bit more knee bend from you, okay? And just square up that shoulder, left shoulder, a little bit for me. Everything else I don't mind at setup. You got a nice wide stance. I love that. Okay? Let's start right there. Okay? Let's keep that very simple there. Let's just make a couple of swings with that adjustment. Okay? Do you use a particular golf ball when you play, Dave?
I sort of go between Callaway and Titleist.
Okay, cool. Okay, so one thing at a time here. Let's make sure when we set up, we've just got a hair more knee bend, and I'm just squaring up that shoulder a bit. So that's pointing to the target for me.
Oh,
There you go. Beautiful. Awesome. That looks great. Don't care where the ball goes. Let's just make a couple of swings with that new setup here.
I need to stay down when I'm trying to do it. Boy, I really feel like I'm crouched.
Good. Try not to include too much at once, right? Let your body focus on one thing at a time, okay? That's why we're going to go through this one thing at a time. Same thing here. Let's do about 4 or 5, just focusing on this change in setup. So just a hair more knee bend than you're used to, and just squaring up that shoulder just a little bit. Beautiful. That looks great. See what's happened to your club path? Look at your club path now.
Oh, yes.
Where were you before?
I don't know. I didn't look at the number last time. Oh.
Minus 7.3, minus 7.7, minus 6.1, minus 4.9, minus 4.5. Your last two, after that change in setup, minus 2.5, plus 2.7.
Yeah, it was just all the stuff you were just saying. Yeah.
Just two minor things at setup. That's it, right? I teach people to play golf anywhere from positive 3 club path, if you want to hit a draw as a right-handed golfer, or minus 3 club path if you want to hit a bit of a fade. Okay, so you're inside those parameters with both shots, just with a minor setup change. That's awesome. That's really good. Okay, let's do the same thing again. Awesome. Good. Give me about 2 more there. Nice job. Whew. When was the last time you hit a 156-yard 7-iron?
No. A long time ago.
Yep. Just shows you your potential. I understand that went left, but it just shows you your potential. You're putting your body in a more athletic position with that increased knee bend now. So how our anatomy works is these big strong muscles up here, right? Our glutes, our hamstrings, our quads, they attach below the knee, right? So when I straighten my knees, these muscles I can't use anymore. All I have to use is my calves now, right? Now when I bend, these become active, right? And contracted. So now I can use them to manipulate myself right and left, right? Or turning, whichever way, okay? One more here, Dave, and then we'll go on to the next thing. Nice job. That sounded okay.
Wow.
Woo! 160. Holy. Were you angry at that one?
Pardon me?
Were you angry at that one?
I think you're right that like you just sort of feel something. This was exactly what you said. I don't know what it is.
So another reason I do it especially for people that are getting up in age as well, because it limits injuries, right? Using these big supporting muscles, right? If we take them out, what it causes is a lot of stress on your joints. So my university degree is in kinesiology, right?
Yeah.
So when you have removed these big muscles, the pressure all comes on the joints, right? So I've had people have a lot of issues when they straighten their legs because now they're starting to stress their joints, right? So that's why I teach the knee bend, okay? So that's why that's important to me. Okay.
I also did a master's in kinesiology at Waterloo. I was a pharmacist too.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So next thing here, you've done a great job there at setup, so I'll just show you here. Look at that. That's awesome. Really good.
Oh,
I can see your left shoulder a little bit too. That's amazing. Really good.
You're right. That punch came away, didn't it?
Really, really good. Yep. Your hands are still in a great spot. I could bet your kneecaps are right over top of the balls of your feet. Right? Really, really good. Okay. So next step here is we're basically going to go through the building blocks of the swing. So next step here is going to be getting to position 2. Okay. Do you get to watch much golf, Dave? Here and there?
Yeah.
Cool. So I want you to notice a couple things just from where we go from here to here. Okay. I want you to notice how close your arms are to your body.
Yes.
Okay. And I want you to notice where that club head gets dragged to. Okay. All right. See that?
Yeah.
I got no space there.
Yeah.
Okay. What I would love to see you do, okay, and I'm going to give you some cues here.